Okay, welcome to Fighting for Our Lives. Today, I want to talk about an important subject, which is boredom, okay? How boredom can really derail any kind of progress in many, many ways. Anything to do with going forward, boredom can get in the way of any of that. Okay, so I think even if I start even thinking about how in certain periods of my life, whether it was mental health, okay, whether it was addiction, there was always times where boredom would be the key trigger to whether I just got so bored. It made me go out and move around with the wrong people. It made me want a quick fix in any kind of way, just to feel better, being bored. I'm bored. I'm going to go down the pub. It's boring. I'm going to ring an ex. There's all these things that come with boredom. If you don't manage it, it's just going to keep you in a vicious cycle, or at a point where you keep just hitting a certain point and you're not managing your time. And anytime you get with that, you're sitting with that uncomfortable feeling of sitting with yourself. The brain starts going, you start remembering, thinking, overthinking. Then it's just going to be very easy for you to just click into that habit of doing something about that boredom. And if we're going to be real with ourselves, like I say, for me, anytime I did anything to do with an addiction, boredom was huge. It was a huge derailer for me. Okay, even when you stop engaging in whatever your behaviour, 1 week, 2 weeks, 5 days, whatever it is, and you start getting itchy feet, you're bored, you don't know what to do with yourself. And that's why it's easy just to slide backwards. Okay? Now, obviously, I spoke about there like an addiction, but let's be real with this now, right? If we talk about something trivial like relationships, getting back with exes, okay? How many people do you know who basically will go through the most chaotic, toxic relationship, okay? Then they'll get out of that relationship, start progressing. The next thing, you see them, oh, how you doing? How was your weekend? I ended up having a few beers and ringing my ex. The next thing, it's back, without even thinking, they've got back in contact, the messages are starting again, and you're just, right now, on a little U-bend and going back down to the point where you've already came. You know, food, eating, boredom. How many people do you know will sit there and say, you know, they're trying to lose weight. I was bored, so I ended up sitting there for 1, 2, 3, 4 hours and eating. And then once you start, you'll eat something else and something else and something else. You've just kicked straight into that. Drinking. You want to stop drinking. So what do? Most people will, let's say they go to the pub every Friday and Saturday. Okay, they've done that for the last 10 years. So the moment they stop, Saturday comes along and they kind of like, make it through. Sunday comes along, make it through. Come the next Saturday, as soon as that boredom or that feeling of, oh, I ain't going through this again, kicks in, bang, I'll just go and have one. Or someone rings you, oh, mate, do you want to come and have a game of pool? Great thinking. Yeah, I'll go into a pub where I used to go and think it's going to be okay. No. And this is what boredom can do. Boredom can derail any kind of idea that you have of making any kind of progress in whatever it is. Mental health, whatever. managing our time and making sure that we have things in place. That means we haven't got that point where we're just sitting there for hours and hours and hours, or even a couple of days, being lonely and bored. It's the most common denominator I always hear, not even just my existence, but when I'm hearing people, well, what are you doing then? Well, I'm not really doing nothing. I don't know what to do. Especially if you come out of a relationship, a long-term relationship, there's a good chance, right, that certain people haven't even got a social network. They haven't even got, like, friends, a friend unit anymore. Like, it's done. They haven't got that. All their world was their partner or their family. So once you haven't got that anymore, then you're left with, all of a sudden, shit. So this is the key. What you need to do is take time out. If it's like, if you're looking to stop smoking weed, if you're looking to stop drinking, stop taking drugs, stop whatever you want to stop, any kind of addiction, then you must have a plan of action. Let's say, I don't know, every time you come home from work in a week, you have a couple of beers or a glass of wine, whatever, okay? You're gonna have to now do something in place of that, because if you have nothing and you just think you're just gonna cold turkey it every night, it ain't gonna happen. It just ain't gonna happen. It's called white knuckling, and you're just basically holding on, okay? There's only so long. It's like there's an analogy. If you sit in a barber shop long enough, you're gonna get your hair cut. Okay, so what we need to do is not be just sitting around. Okay, what we need to be doing is, this is where writing down, investing time into what can I do now? I don't know, go for a walk. This is, for me, it's exciting because now what you're going to do is look at what you can start doing in place of that activity, And sometimes, literally, it doesn't need to be something mental, because a lot of the time, when you go out and do something, you do anything where you expand any kind of energy, mental energy, by the time you're finished, you feel relaxed anyway. You feel calm, you feel chilled. But don't think just sitting there watching TV when you don't even like TV is going to be a winning formula, because it's not. Okay? Same with eating. If normally what you was doing when you was like in your bad times is just sitting, eating and eating and eating, ringing a fucking takeaway or whatever, then you need to make sure you're not sitting. Make sure now you're engaging in something that is healthier. Healthier for your mind, healthier for your body. I'm not telling you to get up and go start running marathons every night. By any means, I'm not doing that. But why don't you start cooking or preparing healthy food? Or go for walks. Join the gym. I don't know. Start looking at different things that you can do that engages your time. Like the weekends, the weekends was a difficult one for me, because when you're working, that's your time, where you're engaged, you're working, and you come home. For me, then I went to the gym, done whatever, don't know what I was teaching. Then I'm tired and I can go to bed or do what I'm doing. It's the weekend bit where all of a sudden I've got like 8 or 9 hours of what do I do now? And it takes a while really to start getting into something new and to start filling. And sometimes those days, they start getting harder by the hour, start getting harder by the minute. 1 minute is a long time, When you come out of a relationship, don't just sit there thinking. It's the worst thing you're going to do. You're going to think yourself into making contact. Do you know what I mean? Or you're going to think, you're just Too much thinking, boredom, it's no good. So the preparation. Okay, sometimes you're just going to find yourself in a situation where all of a sudden you're not involved in a relationship. So now you've got time. Do something. Find yourself. Try different things. Make new friends. Just step outside your comfort zone. Because that's what a lot of this is about. A lot of the times when we are engaging in, negative behavior. Listen, even I'm bored. Women, you're a killer for this. I'm bored. Let me flick through the internet. Let me buy a dress. Let me buy some new shoes. Let me buy, I don't know, just, it's easy. It's cheap. It's easy to do. The next thing, you've run a £70 bill in 15, 20 minutes. That's no good, is it? That's just quick fixing. You're quick fixing. That's not solving the long-term problem at all, especially in this day and age with the financial, world the way it is. So look at what you can do with your time. Manage your time. Managing your time is the thing that's going to then start leading you into better habits, healthier habits, good habits, where you're growing, engaging in new things, engaging yourself mentally, engaging yourself spiritually, physically. Do something. Do not just think that just sitting there and waiting for the time to pass is gonna be a winning formula, like I said right at the beginning, because it really ain't. Never has been. Okay, boredom is a thing that gets you back drinking, gets you back eating, piling the weight on. It gets you back talking and hanging around with the wrong friends you didn't want to hang around with. It gets you back down ringing or round to your dealer. It gets you ringing your ex back up or ringing your ex back up. Do you know? And it just, I'm bored, let me just nip down the pub. 2 days later, you're back home. And then what happens the next time? You're kicking in that wrong behaviour. As soon as you give in to that bad behaviour, you're kicking it in. And then the next time you become bored, it's easy again to engage. And before you know it, boredom is just filled with bad behaviour that's got you to this point right in the first place. So make changes, change up things. Don't wait for something to just change. Don't expect you to be able to change a situation by sitting and doing nothing. Manage your time. Be proactive. Be proactive. Make sure that you get up and go and do things. Okay, you don't need to go. Whatever it is, Jesus, play a computer game. Whatever you haven't been doing, try things out. Don't engage in the same behaviour, or don't engage in something that you don't even like, that bores you to tears. Do something that stimulates you mentally, and sometimes it don't even have to be much. Like I say, 20-minute walk, half an hour walk. Walk and do your shopping instead of driving. Go to the gym an extra 2 or 3 times a week. Have a sauna. This is, and like I keep saying, this is a time for all of us to now start looking at things that we wanted to do before and we never did. Because we've been wasting years and years in the wrong relationship, or we've been wasting years engaging in an addiction, or whatever it is that we don't want to do anymore. Now is your time. It's a positive. Boredom will derail you. Trust me. Okay, it's just something that I really wanted to touch on, because I know that it's something that not a lot of people look at, but it's a huge thing. Okay? Take care. Never stop fighting. And I love you. Salute.